Mic feels something wrong.
What does this mean?
I didn't. It is like his part.
Sorry, mate.
So ready? Is everyone here Korean?
Maybe.
Korean American.
Same.
What's up?
What's up?
Right?
I'm actually from North.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Wow.
So, how are we all doing on this rather slow Thursday morning,
Sleepy.
or afternoon, I should say? So yeah, this is it. Welcome to our very first SVM seminar.
Wow.
Sounds exciting.
And for a little brief introduction, to give myself my name's John. And yeah, very simple,
Wait.
John. So for today's SVM, how do I start this off? How about some announcements for this week? And, and
Wow,
unless you're
wow.
busy, or if you're free that is, we are actually packed for this upcoming weekend. Give me a moment, not really the best with technology.
Do not lie.
All right, so if you see those two announcements on the wall, first off, we got Bible study right here at Blinn. So if y'all attend and have time, be available. And for this upcoming Saturday, we will have a special Korean barbecue day this Saturday afternoon. So if you're available, or if you have people that are available, we hope to see you there that weekend. Or if you're not, we hope to see you again on the next holding. So those are the first two announcements.
So cool. Who made that card? Looks good.
Shoot. Excuse me, it looks like I got some technical difficulties right now.
You can do it.
There we go. And for the other remaining announcements, there we have Into Club, as you can see on my right, your left side.
Wow.
So we have that. Into Worship every single Friday in the evening. Free dinner, we have that. Free worship, we have that. And fellowship. Everything's free, so hope to see you there Friday if you have time.
Awesome.
And as I said before, we will have Korean barbecue day for tomorrow, so our very own life group fellowship time on Saturday will postpone or will return for next week following the end of Korean barbecue day. And yeah, that is also free.
Wow, I love free things. I'll have money.
Everything is free, so the only thing we ask for you is to show up. That is,
Amen.
if you have time. So that is enough for the announcements. And where shall I talk, or what should I talk about right now?
Jesus.
All right, so of course, a presentation needs a message, and a message needs a what?
A speaker.
Speaker.
There we go. Very
Fanboy.
good. All right, so today's message is simple, and sometimes it's what we need not only for this college, but also dealing with the things in our life, whether it be our faith, or sometimes our future and our career, and even overall for ourselves, either in our minds or physical well-being. And that is the word success. So to cut to the chase, let us all give a round of applause to our wonderful speaker, Priscilla Kim. So can you say that, please?
Zilla.
Take it away.
So cool. I know her. Me too. Really?
Yes.
It's first time.
You logging again?
Not too long. The girls still like me. It's okay.
Give your account here.
No.
Get your.
Just got in my eyes too much. Couldn't see.
That's more charming.
이건 안 돼. 그죠?
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, I'm blushing over here. Way younger.
다시 먹어야
I
되는데.
heard that. That's what
큰일 났네.
I've heard that too. 5 years, yeah, like 5 years younger. Yeah, I'm like,
So yeah, a little bit of first day problem. So please excuse us for
You're
the
fine.
technical difficulties or any troubles we're having for the first day. And yeah, we'll get up to the message shortly and eventually. So please try to bear with us. Windows versus Apple. You know, it's like two magnets. You got the north side and the other side. I don't know what it is. They don't match. It's just like that. Windows and Apple. They will never match. Sometimes. Well, unless if you have a C-type charger, they might. But otherwise, they won't.
Why is he that big?
Like that. Apple devices and Windows devices. They don't really pair up each other well. So yeah, we're having a little bit of hiccups for today, so we'll try to get that up right now.
pulling out all the vocabulary words. Amen.
I paid attention in English, at least during my high school years, that is.
Yeah, draw.
So, I'm really bored right now, and
Introduce yourself.
Who are you? I don't know you.
I'm about to ask you that. Who wants to introduce themselves first?
You do. Yay. MC.
Newcomers? Well, let's welcome them. Let's give them a clap. Alright, so who shall introduce themselves first? Or should we do it in rock, paper, scissors?
No, I'm known around here.
So why not you introduce yourself?
What do I need to say?
Introduce, like, your name, your major, and your career.
And age, don't really have a career.
That's it?
Yeah, I guess, Colin, accounting. I don't have a career, bro. I'm 19.
Oh, and
Accounting.
your current
Okay,
major
got
is?
Accounting.
Accounting?
Yeah,
Cool.
everybody.
Man, accounting. I really don't like that name at all. One assignment, then 150. It's all over.
뭐야?
Alright, so thanks for the intro and
I feel like we should do a fun fact instead of career.
Okay, fun fact about yourself.
My career is accounting.
cool. I got an 86 in accounting. Alright, so the message is right about now. So I will.
To introduce someone else.
Yeah, let's go.
You thought he got out of it.
Alright, so how about that? Before we go on with the message, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Woo!
So let's give you a clap.
Wow. My name is Kenai.
Hello.
And
Sorry.
and my major is graphic design.
What's your career?
Graphic designer.
Designer.
Cool. I got a B- in my high school during
No,
my
sure
class. So I feel really jealous. Alright, so that's enough for the talking, and the problems are finally resolved. So I will pass the mic, and Priscilla, steal the show.
Hi guys, nice to meet you. Once again, my name is Priscilla, and I'm a current student here in Blin, and my major is nursing. So today, as you guys can see, the topic of today's seminar is key to success. Some life-changing tips you can have as college students, and not only as college students, but also in our life, in our lifetime. I want to share you guys some practical tips that we can have. So if you go to the next page. Yeah. So first, I'm gonna introduce about us shortly, briefly, once again. So this is a picture that we took with our members and with our friends also. So once again, we are an Into club. We are from an Into club, and we are a Christian club that has the vision for engaging people to live a true life, a disciple of Jesus. So the picture you guys are seeing is a time that, as John advertised, we are having a life group. For the life group, we had a special activity that we went out and we played soccer, and we had some good fellowship time together. So that's some fun activities that we're doing. And now, since we got to know about our club, and now you guys are invited to our seminar. So now let's dive in and let's get to know some keys to success. So the first one would be clarity of purpose. So you guys all know Oprah Winfrey, right? She's a really famous show host, and a lot of people know her. She is a well-known. So one of the phrases that she says is this: create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe. So as you can see, and as she has shared, those who success, they have this similarity. And the first similarity is this, that they have the clarity of purpose, and they keep on continuing to fulfill the purpose. So to make a purpose, to make a goal, then it's better to make it with a specific goal. For example, if you make a goal like I want to improve my English, I want to improve my English skills, then actually when we just say I want to improve it, then it's really hard because we don't have some specific goals, right? So that's why it's saying that I want to say that one of the important steps is that we need to make the goal as a time. We need to put a due date on the time. So for example, within 3 years, I'm gonna be good at English. So every 30 minutes in my daily life, I'm gonna read some English books, or I'm gonna memorize some English vocabularies. So like this, if you have a clear purpose, and as with the purpose itself, if we make a deadline, if we make a specific goal, then we can grow ourselves more, and we can get one step closer to success. So I'm gonna share two more specific tips that we can have based on the clarity of purpose. So the first one is direction. So actually, more than putting our best, before we put our best, the important thing is the direction. Because even though when we think that we're doing our best and we're aiming to one thing, let's say the direction is another way, is a thing that it's not eventually helpful for me, it's not gonna help me, then actually it will be the wrong direction, and we would have to waste a lot of time in our life. So what I want to say is that we have to know what I really want to do. The key to success is first, know what I want to do, know the purpose. So as first, we can lessen unnecessary choices, and also we can reduce the time that we might waste. So this is one of the things. And so for one example, we can say like this. So let's say that I'm thinking what my future career would be. So let's say I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher in the future. Then not just having a ambiguous goal, like, oh, maybe one day I can get a certificate, maybe one day I'll do this, maybe one day I'll get a certificate, so I'll just do what I'm doing right now. But rather than that, if you have the right direction, if we have the clear purpose, then we'll just say like this. So since I want to be an educator, I want to be a teacher, then I'm coming here to studying abroad in America. Then I want to enroll. I want to learn some classes. I want to register myself in a college class that I can eventually have the certificate that I can teach students. I can teach elementary students. So like that, the clear way is also important that we are doing. So actually, when we have the clear direction, we have the ability to not lose the opportunity that is given to us. So when we have the clear direction and we really know what we want to do and we set the specific goals, then we'll be able to catch the opportunities that when it's given to us, we'll be able to catch when there's a time that I can get closer to the goal that I have. I can get closer to the way of success. So one of the several people who succeeded, they just don't wait for the opportunity that is given to them, but they prepare themselves. So another example can be an AI. Let's say that a person is interested in AI education. Then that person would not think, oh, maybe if I just live my life, a good opportunity will come to me. No, the people who succeed don't just stop their minds like that, but they have a specific goal, right? So they're interested in AI education. So I'm gonna attend to a seminar that is about AI education. I'm gonna have some interview with a person that is working with AI, which is working in a company that is based on AI. So like that, the clear direction is quite important. And the second thing is time-bound goals. It is a thing that I have shared in the previous slide. So actually, when we think that, oh, I will do this one day, I'm gonna do this one day, then actually it's easy to postpone the goal if we just make it ambiguous. But when we have the due date, if we have the time-bound goals, then it makes it easier for us to really approach and really do the specific goal that we are doing. So for example, it can be like, oh, I'm gonna exercise from now. I want to exercise my body. Then rather than that, it's much better to set a specific goal. Like within the 3 months, I'm gonna lose 5 kilograms or like that. If we put a due date and we put a specific goal, then it might be easy for us because we know ourselves that, oh, from now till March, then I put this goal. So I will be able to get closer to that goal and I'll be able to know how much time has left and how much am I going to the goal, how much I fulfilled the goal. Yes. So actually this is a thing, not just by words, but it is a thing called Parkinson's law. So a man named Parkinson, there's this law that he said that when people don't have a time-bound goal, when they don't have a due date, then it's easy. Most people, they just postpone it, and they don't actually, it's really hard to fulfill the goal if there's no time-bound goal. So to do that, and also when we have time-bound goals, they will be more easy to concentrate on that time because it's not just a plan, it's not just a goal of our life, but it is a plan that we are doing for a few months or a few weeks or in a few days. Then we are able to concentrate it more, and it will be our motivation within the time that is given to us. So for the the clear direction, we call this the SMART goal, that it is an abbreviation, is a word of a SMART that can help us to have a clear goal and a way to succeed. So the first S stands for specific. A specific goal is important. And then the second M stands for measurable. A measurable goal that I can do. And then the third one is achievable. A goal that I can actually achieve. And then the fourth one is relevant. That is related with my life and is related, the goal that I have is related for me to grow more and eventually go to success. And then the last one, the T, is time bound. It is a thing that we have an end date, that we can focus on it and we can have the clear motivation. So first of all, this is the first, the clear direction, the clear purpose that we have is for the success in our life. So now let's go to the second one, which is self-discipline and routine. So James Clear, do you know this man? Have you heard about his name? Now, there is this book called Atomic Habits. Have you heard of that? I think it was one of the really bestseller books. So that he's the author of that book. And he says, success doesn't happen overnight. It begins with small habits repeated every day by day. So among the many people who have succeeded, a lot of people tend to wake up early and start their day by exercising. So like that, the daily habits that they have made, a lot of people, through the small habits, through the discipline and the daily routine that they have, they could stack it up and eventually they could go to success. So there are also three specific things that we can do in self-discipline. So the first one is habits. So in one of the phrases in the book, Atomic Habits, it says like this: those who fulfill the goal and those who fail it is not about the real power, but it is a different about the habit that the people have. So that is the one thing that they say. So actually, as we can see, the first one is making the bed and exercise. Actually, these two things aren't some like really high goals or goals that we really have to like prepare our hearts to do something, but it is a thing that we can easily easily do when we wake up. It is a thing that we can give our time for 10 or 15 minutes, and we can eventually do it. So the thing in habits that they mentioned is not a habit that is too big to achieve. It is a a big thing, but it is a small thing that we can start. Even 5 minutes a day is okay. But from starting, the good habit gradually will stack, and it will be a great treasure for our life. So some tips of habits can be this. So the first one is start with a small step, and the second one is make it easy. So for example, if you want to improve our English, as I said, then I can put an English book on my desk. I can put an English book on my desk that it will be easy for me to approach the book, and I can just open it and I can reach it, since I can physically see it in my eyes, and I can reach out and I can read even 5 minutes every day. So, and then the third one is doing it every day and making our body to get used to the habit. So if you do this every single day, then it eventually becomes a routine in our life. So for example, if it's like making the bed, it's the time as soon as we wake up, right? Then as soon as we wake up, when we make the bed, then eventually it can be a habit in our life, and it will be able for us that our body will eventually get used to that goal. Yes. So the second one is steadiness. So more than one big effort, the small efforts that we do every day will make a bigger effect eventually. So when we say that we make a 1% of growth day by day, if we grow ourselves 1% every day by day, eventually after 1 year, we can grow 37% in our life. So like that, but in the other hand, if it gets worse, 1% day by day, then eventually a year after, then we become 0%. That means there was no growth, but there was no growth in our life. So for example, the 1%, let's say I'm reading an English book for 30 minutes. Then eventually in 1 year, we can be able to read 15 books, 15 English books. So like that, when we say that we're doing exercise for 30 minutes every day, then after 1 year, we can draw ourselves that we can have a healthy body, and we can really eventually reach to the goal if if you have the steady heart, and if you do it steadily day by day. So one more phrase from the Atomic Habits. It says that a big success comes from the small efforts that has been steady. So this is one of the things that I want to share. And also the Harry Potter, the writer of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. Now Harry Potter is a book and a movie that is well known, that we know. But actually she was rejected 12 times when she submitted her book to the book publishers. But she kept on trying, and eventually we can read the book, and it made a big success in her life as well. So one more example can be Michael Jordan. He's a famous basketball player, right? So first, one of the story I found out was he wasn't able to go to the high school basketball team when he was in high school. But eventually, now that we know, by his steadiness, by the practice that he did, he's one of the legends that we know in NBA. So like that, steadiness can be also a key of our success. The last thing is reading. So reading, I want to share 3 people that are really influential in our life and that is well known. So Bill Gates, for example, he said that I read 50 books each year. There is one phrase that he says. And also Warren Buffett, he also says the 80%. Every day I put 80% of my effort on reading the book. In my daily life, in the 24 hours, he puts 80% of that on reading books. And lastly, Elon Musk, he says that he learned rocket science through books. So like that, the 3 people who have a lot of influence in our life these days, they could do that because of the books that they read, because of the time that they spent reading the book. So reading the book can be a lifelong learning, because by reading the book, we can grow our creativity and also ability to solve the problems. And eventually, when a person writes a book, when a writer writes a book, it means that the person put his or her thoughts, his or her concern from a lot of years, a lot of time that they put in one book. So when we get to read a book, that means that we can see the lesson that the person had from his or her lifetime. So it's a really precious thing that we can also have. So one of the tips when you read the book, when we say that we're starting to read a book, then actually it's quite easy. It's quite easy to feel burden that I might have to finish the book when I start reading the book. But when you put down the pressure that we have, then eventually we can start the book, reading the book chapter by chapter. And actually, if it's too hard to finish the book, then it's also right. It's also okay to stop reading the book and trying another book and then eventually going back. So putting down the pressure to read the book can really help on the self-discipline. So now let's go to the third part, which is networking and people skills. So Keith Ferretti, he's also one of the famous writers around the world. He says that your success depends not on what you know, but on how you connect with the people you know. So actually, eventually, the success that we know is not given by us. It's not done by one person. It's not just given by individuals, but it's by the connection that they have with the people. So even though they have a great ability and a great potential that they have, if they don't have a relationship with people, if they don't have a connection, then eventually it's hard to have an opportunity, and it will be hard to grow to the. It will be easy to face the limit of success. So one of the famous people, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, they also had a relationship together. They shared their insight together, and because of they shared their insight and they had the relationship together, they could success more. And also, Stephen Jobs and Wozniak, they met together and they established the company as we well know, Apple. So through the advantage that they had, they could make a big company, and they could make a company that affects our life, and a really successful company. So on a survey done by Harvard University, 85% of success comes by the communication ability and by the relationship that people have together. So when we say there is IQ and EQ, right? And an EQ is the ability to have emotion and ability to share with our action. Then it's more higher. There's higher possibility for a person who has higher EQ to success eventually. So one of the famous phrases, it says that rather than being smart, it's more important to have a good relationship with people next to you. So so we can see that through the life of Bill Gates. So he learned how to manage his company and the time, how to invest in his company and a lot of things through the relationship that he had with Warren Buffett. So that is the one thing that we can know. So so emotional and mental support can given by each people. So when we think that we're doing it ourselves, then it's more hard to success. So eventually what this part is saying is that through the network and the relationship that people have together, then they can be supported together emotionally and mentally, and also through that they can grow and actually teach together. As a mentor teaches the person, then each person with the abilities that they have, with the advantage that each person has, then they can eventually share to others and grow together so that they can go to the success together. Yes, but let's say, what if the three parts that I shared can be done by the one thing that I share? What if I say the networking, the clear purpose, and and then the steady heart, the discipline that we are doing? What if we say that we can do this by one simple thing? Now I want to share the real thing that I wanted to share in this seminar. So first of all, as we remember, let's go back to the first point, which is clarity of purpose. So in the Bible verse, in the Westminster it asks, the first question is this: what is the chief end of man? It asks, what is the purpose of man? And in the answer, it says, man's chief end is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. And Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 to 10, it says that, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Not only this Bible verse, but also in a lot of Bible verse, it says about the purpose of our life. So on Matthew chapter 6, it also says that seek for the kingdom and His righteousness. So the clear purpose, the clarity of purpose that we can have as Christians is that seeking the kingdom of God rather than the money or the possession. Because when we have the time, when we live the life of the righteous life, and when we please God with the life that we are living, then eventually God allows us to have, God fills us with His joy, and also we can feel the fulfillment that God does in our life. So God, Jesus Christ, eventually wants us to live as a light on the world. And eventually when we do that, then we can have the true success in our life, that we can have the true success, which is the true life in Jesus Christ. And then the second one is self-discipline and routine. So 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16 to 17, it says that all scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching. So the self-discipline is a thing that we do in a Christian life. So the faith that we have in Christianity is not just something, it's not just a sudden belief that we have, but it is a thing that gets deepened by the continual training that we do. So on another verse, it says that physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things. So as well as training, as disciplining ourselves, like physical training for athletes, we have to train our spirituality also, that we can grow, so we can grow. So through prayer or meditating on the Bible, through those steps, then eventually we can grow. And it is a process for us to grow in faith. So Christianity, the faith in Christianity is not just a sudden emotion that we feel, but it is a process, it is a journey that we continually do by the effort that we put in. So lastly, I wanted to share the third thing, networking and people skills. So 1 Corinthians chapter 12 to 14, it says that just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ. So actually, God created us to rely on one another. First, rely on God, and eventually rely on one another that we can do. So as the Bible verse says, it says that God created us as body parts. So when we see of our body, we are consisted of many body parts, such as the arm and the leg and a lot of other parts. So like that, actually, the networking and people skills is also needed in our life, because God created us not to live alone, but to communicate with one another and live in a community. So when we think about that, we can also see that actually when we try to live alone, it's quite impossible, because actually the food that we eat, eventually there must be a farmer who raised the food that we're eating, and the technology that we are having right now is eventually made by a person, made by people who gathered their idea, and they developed the technology. That's how each person are helping each one another in the place where they are. Yes. So on Corinthians chapter 12, it is mentioning about the beautifulness of diversity in a church. So each person, each one of us, as we are here right now, we're from a different country, we're from a different background, different culture, but eventually as one body, there is one body, it cannot be separated, right? So like that, eventually God created us, that even though we have the different background, we can rely on one another, and each role that God allowed us, each role that the gift that God gives us, we can unite and live a life together. So relying together in God and being a community that fulfills the will of God is a community that God created us and God made us for. So these are the three eventual goals that I wanted to share throughout today's message. And as I shared today, the clarity of purpose, self-discipline, and networking and people skills are a very important factors for us in success in our life. But not a success just for our money, not just a success to get a high quality of life, but a true life, the most essential thing, which is having a relationship with God and feeling His joy that God gives us in our daily life. So that's all for the message that I wanted to share today. And thank you so much for joining today's message and gathering together here to hear the message. So at this time, for the next, I wanted to invite one man from also our Into Club. So at this time, we're gonna have some activities based on the message that we have heard, based on the topic that we have today, to success in life. So at this time, when I invite Ian to the front, let's welcome him with a big round of applause.
Woo!
Hi guys. So as you have heard about what Priscilla shared, we'll take a moment to just think about how we can actually develop ourselves in God. She shared all the successful, all the things that we can succeed in this life, but if the success is without God, if the success that we bring ourselves is not affecting others' life, others' belief, I think we have to start again to affect in a good way. So this is the paper that I prepared for you guys to think about and answer the following questions. So from this, take one by one. And the questions are quite applicable, but also kind of considerable to provoke your thoughts. And then by writing down this, I hope you guys can gather by the groups. So the girl groups and men groups will gather after we finish writing, and then not just sharing, but I hope you guys can make strategies that Priscilla mentioned about, and yeah, everything.
Keep showing the advertising posters so that other people can keep seeing.
Guys, take one.
Just check the advertising poster. Here. Here. There should be a poster on Canva. If not, you have the file, right? Wait, put the file into window. Canva PPT. Okay. Then show the advertisement. So this PPT. Okay.
Okay. So actually our message was quite like a little more extended. So I wish we could have some more time to actually share about our activities, but for the sake of time, I will just wrap up, and then I hope you guys can share, but if not, please remind yourself in you and think about it. And the most important thing is to actually try in your day. If you make everything, if you make direction, clear goal, but don't try, it will never happen. So please, if you haven't thought of the trial that you want to do today, please think about it. And if you thought about it, please try to do it today, so that you can grow and you can communicate with God more and more and grow spiritually. And I will give this mic to our handsome, beautiful MC John. Thank you.
Alright, so that is it for the first day. And before we close up and wrap things, I want to make a reminder or one last announcement for our announcements. As you can see on the board, we got Bible study for every week, so we hope to see you there. And also a big one, KBD. If you have time or if you have friends, we hope to see you there as well. Free food, free people, free everything. So a big event. So that will be happening this Thursday, and we will like to see y'all there. What else is there?
I'll make it.
Me too.
And aside from that, our Into Club has been going on, so you can join us when we have time. Into worship every Friday, non-stop, with the exception of First Brian. So we'll be here.
Is it free?
It's free. As said before, everything is free. So your Friday, if you want to be with us, and that's also nice. Life group will come back next week following KBD. So yes, that is also free.
Amazing.
And one last thing before I close my mouth and wrap things up, literally,
Wow.
is Into World.
What is that?
And I don't want to talk long, so I'll briefly size it up. So Into World is basically a campaign for y'all Americans or any other people in Texas or in America, and a chance for y'all to go overseas in Asia, like in Korea, the Philippines, Thailand, and other many places in the future. So Into World is not just about traveling and going overseas, but also learning to do the mission, whether it be in education, teaching English, or learning different lifestyles and cultures there. So we are expected to get that back up this summer or this springtime. So we hope y'all have time for the break. And if any of y'all interested, then make sure y'all talk to us and let us know, because that'll be back anytime soon. So that is it with everything for today.
Is that free? Into it?
Everything's free.
What?
Maybe
Yes.
free.
Let me just say that everything is
How can
free.
This is
Your ticket, your ride, your dorms, your food, your...
Are you rich?
Well, with the exception of trying to or having to exchange any money you bring to the designated country, you may have to exchange that and buy your personal things. But the important things, your ticket is free, your ride's free, your food, your dorms, free.
Wow, I like that.
Alright, so that is the last announcement, and
In summer.
yes, as I said before, springtime or summertime. So if you are free during the break, or if you have any interest to join for a certain amount of time, then please let us know, and that'll be good. So that is it for our first day of SVM. And of course, it was a rather bumpy start for the debut day, but I am grateful and I'm honored to be your host and MC. So, to say one last thing, it's almost 1 p.m. Almost half the day has gone for an hour. So, whatever you're doing after this, whether you have class or some other task or even calling it a day, we wish you all a great one, even though it's just 2 of y'all here. So, as I said before, we wish you a great one, have a blessed one, and until next time,
You were sent.
you are sent.
Yes, Pastor John.
This is your MC, John, and in the meantime, until next time.
Wow.